everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Glorified Now. My name is HENLENSEMEDIA. For those who are new, I film about faith, entrepreneurship, relationships, beauty, mental health, and lifestyle in general. And I film from Malawi. I'm a Malawian, yeah. I think I don't tell people that much, but yes, I film from Malawi. Yeah, so I believe you have subscribed to this channel, and if you haven't, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up and comment. And if you have anything that you want us to suggest that we should be doing on this channel, remember, we interact here, we are building a community here, so you are allowed to suggest those things in the comments. But otherwise, I appreciate your support all the way. So last week we talked about mental health, and I mentioned that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So please, a lot of people, we don't understand, or we don't know what our minds can do, and we end up doing some things not knowing it's because our mental state is not all right. And like I said, what mental health is, it means your emotional or your psychological well-being is in the right state. And the opposite is mental illness, where you're not okay, you're not okay emotionally, you're not okay psychologically. And a lot of us, we are so good to put our makeup on, we are so good at taking care of our outside being and not really take care of our mental states. So please do be part of this awareness. Talk about it, talk about mental health, talk about what mental health is all about, and what mental illness is all about, and how you can help. And I believe if you have been following me from October until now, you have some knowledge of what mental health is, and you can actually talk to people about it, so people can learn something about it. And like I always say, you are not alone. If you are going through something, please talk to a friend, or you can talk to us. We always put our helpline email in the description. You can always contact us. We will help you. Don't die in silence. Now, last week I talked about being uncertain and feeling unappreciated or feeling irrelevant and all that. And today I have two things as well. This video will be really, really short. I will talk about one. Those are the things that I believe that a lot of people, if you don't take them well, they tend to put mental pressures in us. We end up being anxious, being stressed, and feeling depressed. So there are two. Being perfectionists. These people we call perfectionists, or just being a perfectionist. And number two, not owning our own lens. This is about who we are now. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Let's start talking about being in this in these thoughts that you think you are a perfectionist, where people say, this person is a perfectionist, or I am a perfectionist. I want everything to go right, where you don't feel well when something goes wrong. You want everything to go right. And I think most of these things happen with a lot of Christians, where we get this thing of self-righteousness, where we think we are the most righteous. We cannot go wrong. We cannot do something wrong. I think that's not a very good place to be, where you think you are a human in the first place. Things can go wrong. You can do something wrongly. You can wrong other people, maybe even unintentionally. Knowing and unknowingly, things can go wrong, or you can do something not right. So a lot of people, these people we call perfectionists, or these people that they call themselves perfectionists, when something goes wrong, it doesn't go well with their minds. They end up having this thought, what did I do? Oh, I cannot go wrong. How did this go wrong? And we end up giving ourselves these mental pressures in our heads that we're not even supposed to have them in the first place. But because we have this mentality that, I'm a perfectionist, everything I do it right, I cannot go wrong. No, things do go wrong sometimes. And sometimes, because we are just humans, nature has his way of not making us do some things that are not right to people, or in our businesses, or in whatever things that we do. And sometimes the Holy Spirit will come to rebuke us. You know what, Chumemwe? that's not a good way of talking, or that's not a way of treating people, or that's not a good way of doing business. And sometimes we don't do well with rebukes. A lot of us, we don't do well, even when that rebuke is coming from other people or instructors and all those things, or all those people that are around us that help us to be better. So we should be able to take those rebukes or those instructions and learn, just learn. And knowing that you are not perfect. It's Christ in us who makes us perfect. On our own, we cannot. We cannot have righteousness on our own. So just knowing that fact, that you cannot be perfect, that you cannot be righteous on your own, you should know that you cannot be perfect. You cannot be a perfectionist all the time. Things sometimes don't go well. So allow yourself, free yourself from those thoughts, and you end up living a very good life, a better life, where you know that I'm just a human. Sometimes I can do something wrong, or I cannot do something right to people, or in whatever you do, at your job, whatever. Now, number 2 is this thing of owning your lane, or just sticking to your lane. Like I said, I think last time, of that we have this inborn thing in us that we just want to feel appreciated. So there's this thing as well, where we have this thing in us. We have this power, that leading power in us, where we think we have this thing that we can own something in our lives. So most of the times, those people, or let me say people who have maybe they started something, or they have let me say an organization, maybe a company, or maybe a ministry, or those things where you own something, you feel like you own something. And when you own something, sometimes when you find people doing something similar to you, you don't get maybe excited for them. You start trying to compare yourself with them, because there's that inborn thing in us of being a leader, one, and having power. 2, because of those 2 things that God has given us inside of us, we become competitive. We have that spirit that we want to compete with others, or we want to compare with others who are doing things similar to us, or just doing things different from us. And those thoughts can actually lead us into mental pressure, where someone is doing something similar to you, or is leading something similar to you, and you want to compete. You want to compare, where you want to be the best in the game. You know how we put, he's the best in the game, I'm the best. And when you find someone who is doing better than you, you start having these thoughts, he cannot be better than me, or this and that. And at the end of the day, they're giving us this unnecessary pressure in our heads that they're not even supposed to be there in the first place. Because this is what Paul says, that we are a body of Christ. If he said that we are a body, it means, a body has a lot of things. Has legs, has hands, has ears, has eyes, nose, mouth, and those things, they do things differently. What an ear can do, it's not what an eye can do. What the nose can do, it's not what your feet can do. So that should tell you about people as well. We are a body of Christ. So if you are a body of Christ, it means we're not going to do things similar. We are in our own lanes. All we can do is to own our lane and stick to it, and know that other people can do better than us, or maybe in their lane they're doing better, and that's okay. You just have to stick to what God has given you, to just walk in your own purpose. If we end up comparing, having those thoughts of competing, then trust me, those things they can end you into depression. They can end you being stressed or being anxious for really nothing, really. So stick to your lane. Stick to your lane. Own it. And do what God wants you to do in that lane, without having those thoughts of competing, those thoughts of comparing. Yes, lead. Don't just, not just because God has told us, replenish, be fruitful, hey, take over, blah blah blah. And you think taking over, by that God is telling you to to take over someone in their lane. No, stick to yours. Stick to your. There's nothing about. A lot of people wants to be the best. When they're in that room, they want them to be the best. They want to be the prettiest, to be the most knowledgeable, to have this at the expense of others, where you just want to be the one shining. No, it's not about outshining someone. It's just you shining. Shine in your lane and allow others to shine in their lane. Don't compare. Don't compete. Don't try those. Those things, when we end, we have those thoughts in our heads, trying to compete, try to compare. They have a tendency of bringing those mental pressures where you wake up just to compete with someone. My dear, you are in your own lane. You have your own speed. You don't know what others are doing or how much money they have to be working the way they're working, or for their things to be moving the way they're moving. So if you end up doing those, you end up into different unnecessary things, or maybe into unnecessary debts. You end up borrowing money just for the reason just to be similar to someone, or just because you're comparing or you're competing with someone. So please try as much as possible to stick to your lane, on your lane, and know that you're not a perfectionist. Sometimes things they don't come out the way you wanted them to come out, and you just stay back, relax, and restart. As simple as that. So yeah, those two things, I think if most of us we can learn to do those things, or to build ourselves in those things, I think it will make us better. We will not have these issues of depression, of anxiety, of stress, to the point that people now they're committing suicide just because others are doing better than them, just because things did not go well. So yeah, thank you so much for staying again, for listening up to the end. I believe by now you have been helped. For those that are not feeling appreciated, you know what to do. Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment if you have to. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Yeah, I'll leave the links down below in the description. Until next time, I love you so much.